Urgent Niners fan, look at what just happened. Nobody saw this coming, huh? But first, make sure to subscribe to the channel because we bring you daily videos with the latest Niners news. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. 49ers UDFA Tracker 2025. The 49ers are adding more defense. Here, well, keep track of all of the 49ers signings after the conclusion of the 7th round. With the San Francisco 49ers draft coming to a conclusion, the fun is just beginning. Now we'll turn our attention toward the undrafted free agent signings. The 49ers signed Mason Pline last year. While he didn't contribute during 2024, he's an interesting option at tight end and potentially a sleeper. Defensive tackles Kevin Givens and Evan Anderson have found ways to get on the field at defensive tackle. Will the 49ers find another gem this draft cycle? I'm more interested in seeing which positions they target. That'll help us identify where the 49ers want to add depth now that the draft is concluded. Just because a player is reportedly joining, a team doesn't make it official, as several players will agree to join one team only to switch to another. These contracts likely won't be signed until Monday. Keep track here of UDFA signings and keep checking back as more names are added to the list. Update 5:57 p.m. The 49ers are inviting West Virginia linebacker Ty French to their rookie minicamp per Aaron Wilson. Update 5:05 p.m. Multiple reports are surfacing that Washington defensive tackle Sebastian Valdez is heading to the Bay. Update 5:01 p.m. The 49ers have signed BYU cornerback Jacob Robinson. Update 4:41 p.m. The 49ers are signing Colorado State guard Drew Moss per Jeremy Fowler. More offensive line pieces. Update 4:25 p.m. Cincinnati running back Corey Kiner will be joining the 49ers. Kyle Shanahan gets another UDFA running back. You know how those work with this team. Kiner started his career at LSU before transferring to Cincy, where he was the primary back for the past 2 seasons. In 2024, he ran for 153 yards and 4 touchdowns on 204 carries. Pausing this news just to say that if you want YouTube to keep recommending the latest Niners news to you, it's very important that you leave a like on this video. Thanks! Now let's get back to the news. 49ers can still add Pro Bowl wide receiver despite Davante Adams' rejection. The Niners pivoting from pursuing Davante Adams shouldn't be hard. Davante Adams was disrespected by the 49ers' offer to him, but they can still go after a proven Pro Bowl veteran wide receiver who'd likely be cheap. The San Francisco 49ers were one of several teams that expressed interest in acquiring 6-time Pro Bowl wide receiver Davante Adams after the New York Jets let him go earlier this offseason. Adams ultimately signed with an NFC West rival, the Los Angeles Rams, on a 2-year deal worth up to $44 million. Then, speaking with The Athletic's Mike Silver, Adams explained how the Niners were interested in his services but were making a wholesale kind of offer, not a retail type, which he was seeking. The apparent disrespect jives with San Francisco's newfound modus operandi this offseason, getting younger and cheaper, and the 49ers would have been ripped apart by both media and fans had they given Adams the kind of money he received from L.A. But considering the Niners' wide receiver room remains questionable after trading away Deebo Samuel, and in the wake of Brandon Ayuk's torn ACL and MCL last season, it still wouldn't hurt to explore other free agent options, including one player they've been tied to previously. Amari Cooper makes plenty of cheap sense for 49ers a year ago, back when Ayuk was undergoing a tense period of extension talks that included serious trade speculation. Cooper's name was tossed in as a potential trade chip that could head over to the Bay Area. The 5-time Pro Bowler even publicly stated he wouldn't mind playing for San Francisco if traded by his then team, the Cleveland Browns. Instead, he was traded to the Buffalo Bills in the middle of the 2024 season. Now a free agent who has 7 1,000-yard campaigns over his career, the soon-to-be 31-year-old is still seeking a new home. The 49ers should be interested, especially if they felt grabbing Adams would help, although it seems much likelier they'll wait until after the NFL draft and the subsequent dust to settle before making any serious offers. According to Spotrac, Cooper's market value is a shade below $19 million per season. But the longer the offseason moves along, the less likely it is he receives a deal in that range. Cooper might want to wait things out to see if a better deal arises, but it's certainly beneficial for the Niners to at least explore the possibility of another wholesale offer to the veteran, if there's little other interest elsewhere. George Kittle signs off on one of 49ers' final 2 picks from 2025 NFL Draft. Hawkeyes, anyone? George Kittle is going to openly embrace one of the 49ers' final 2 picks made during the 2025 NFL Draft. The San Francisco 49ers wrapped up their 2025 NFL Draft picks with 2 selections toward the end of Round 7, November 249 and 252 overall. After grabbing a quarterback, Curtis Ror of Indiana, earlier in the 7th round, the Niners stayed on the offensive side of the ball after primarily focusing on the defense, grabbing both an offensive lineman and another wide receiver to round out their 2025 draft class, and a particular San Francisco star is pretty stoked with one of those selections. 49ers selection of Connor Colby earns George Kittle's approval at number 249. The 49ers grabbed Iowa interior offensive lineman Connor Colby, helping ensure the interior depth for their O-line is secured after mostly bypassing it this offseason. Needless to say, another Iowa alumnus, tight end George Kittle, was happy to land a player from his alma mater. It'll be interesting to see, though, how Colby relates to quarterback Brock Purdy, an Iowa State alum who has had some entertaining run-ins with Kittle previously for the Iowa State rivalry. Back to Colby, the 6'6", 310-pound lineman is a bit clunky, but projects well in a zone-style offense, which appears to be what head coach Kyle Shanahan wants to get back to. As far as immediate impact, Colby doesn't stand much of a chance to start anytime soon, and he might merely be a developmental project with the high upside of serving as a backup. Still, depth matters, and Kittle approves. 49ers close out their 2025 draft class with WR Junior Bergen. The Niners already grabbed a wide receiver earlier, Ole Miss Jordan Watkins in round 4, but Watkins will have some competition for a roster spot with the arrival of Montana's Junior Bergen. Like Watkins, Bergen is on the smaller side of things at 5'11" and 184 pounds, and also doubles as a potential return option for San Francisco's special teams unit. The 49ers likely don't envision both receivers making the 53-man roster, but at least there'll be a bit of a healthy competition come training camp. George Kittle quietly sneaks into 49ers facility amid NFL draft drama. It's almost like he never left. At the start of the San Francisco 49ers off-season workout program, somewhat big news emanated when All-Pro George Kittle opted not to show up for the voluntary sessions. Numerous media outlets made a big deal out of it, highlighting how Kittle was awaiting a new contract extension as he is poised to hit free agency in 2026. Additional reporting suggested Kittle was aiming to reclaim his title as the NFL's top-paid tight end, although it didn't take long for the All-Pro to refute such claims. Somewhat lost in the news cycle and overreactions is the fact Kittle has often skipped the opening days of such activities, so his absence likely didn't trigger any alarm bells at Levis Stadium. But with the drama and flurry surrounding the 2025 NFL Draft and the Niners selections therein, Kittle quietly worked his way back to the Bay Area. San Francisco 49ers GM HC detail why they drafted Indiana's CJ West, Curtis Ror, to Indiana. Players were selected in the 2025 NFL Draft, and both are headed to the Bay Area with the San Francisco 49ers. Former IU defensive tackle CJ West was taken by the 49ers with the 11th pick in the 4th round, while former IU quarterback Curtis Ror heard his name called with the 11th pick in the 7th round. 2 Indiana players were selected in the 2025 NFL Draft, and both are headed to the Bay Area with the San Francisco 49ers. Former IU defensive tackle CJ West was taken by the 49ers with the 11th pick in the 4th round, while former IU quarterback Curtis Ror heard his name called with the 11th pick in the 7th round. West is the first Hoosier defensive lineman to be drafted since 2010 and the program's first defensive tackle since 1997. Ror is IU's first quarterback drafted since Nate Sudfeld in 2016 and only the 4th quarterback selected in the 21st century. Following Day 3 of the NFL Draft, San Francisco 49ers general manager John Lynch and head coach Kyle Shanahan detailed why they drafted West and Ror and what stands out about both players. Full excerpts can be read below, while the full press conference can be viewed by clicking here on Curtis Ror San Francisco GM John Lynch. A guy that we really liked and I think displayed a lot of his toughness. Played a lot of the year on a partially torn ACL. It was a previous ACL that was done in 2022 and kind of a re-tear, but toughed it out, played through it, had surgery after the season. We took him with the understanding that he's not going to likely be cleared until training camp, but we just felt like there was a lot of talent, a lot of ability. The guy plays the game the right way. You can't have enough good quarterbacks, and wanted to add him to the mix, and we were able to add him in the 7th round and excited to do so. San Francisco head coach Kyle Shanahan loved his size, loved how he throws, loved how he plays the position. Just especially watching him this year, I don't think it was coincidence how good of a year Indiana had with the type of quarterback they had. Did it the whole year with a broken thumb, a torn ACL, and still was really, really impressive. We're in a situation where getting a guy with a torn ACL, he probably won't be cleared until training camp, but it'll be close. But it's not an issue for us right now because obviously we have Brock Purdy and Mac Jones and love Tanner Mordecai too. Thought it was just a very good, valuable pick for us for a guy who might not be ready for another year because I think he's about 7 months out from surgery. We were in a situation where we could take him, and I think he would have gone a lot higher if he were healthy. On CJ, West San Francisco GM John Lynch adding another guy to the mix in CJ. We had some departures this offseason, and we felt it was important to restock, and not just with guys. We wanted to put guys that fit our vision for what we want that room to be. CJ, I think, if we're talking about him, is stout, sturdy, but also has the quickness and strength to play in the other team's backfield. Makes a lot of splash plays in the other team's backfield. I had the chance to watch him live this year when we went back to Ohio State. Indiana was there, made an impression in that game. But more so his film, his body of work has really stood out, and we just felt was a really good fit. Another add to the line we're building. And now, Niners fan, I want to hear from you. What's your opinion on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I don't know if you know this, but your opinion matters a lot for Niners. He'll be back any moment with more Niners news.